Hello and welcome back to Operations with Void. I'm your host Forgotten Void, and this week we will be showing how to run a destroyer in Cherry Blossom, showcasing the Split. Now the Split is actually a really good ship for Cherry Blossom. I was surprised. I found the one operation where you actually kind of want to bring the Split. Okay. Maybe want to is a strong word. Where the Split does well, I would do. There's a lot of ships I would bring before the Split, but it actually does really well in Cherry Blossom. So I will show you how to run Cherry Blossom, how in a destroyer, talking about the difference between the normal destroyers and Split because there are differences, and how I ran it. Now, for the captain build, it's your destroyer build. That's all I have. Nothing special. I would actually build into torpedoes for operations, while guns, if it's going to be randoms or whatnot. It's because torpedoes are still your major source of damage, even with them only being 8.5 kilometers. And that is why, even though it's more of a gunboat, you build into torpedoes if you're running it in PvE or operations. With that, we will go into battle. So here we are. I was just grinding away at the Split and got into a random group. We have a Baltimore and a Montepleure and an Allende. The Allende is okay in Cherry Blossom. It's not terrible, but not great either because it doesn't get short fuse armor piercing. I've had short fuse armor piercing, like a certain light British cruiser, or all the light British cruisers. If it had short fuse armor piercing, it would be great in this, but it does not, so it's all depends on the destroyers. Montepleure and Baltimore, on the other hand, Cleveland and Baltimore were top choices for this operation. And here we were waiting to use our radar for 30 seconds, waiting to see if Montepleure uses theirs first. They did not. Montepleure has a longer duration, so that's why we were waiting to see if they were going to use theirs. Also, they're closer to the enemies. They did not. So we used ours. It's a short duration, short cooldown. But it does show where, on the minimap, where the enemies are, so there are Montepleure used his radar, and so it helped our allies know that there are enemy ships within their radar range. Because when people are new to this and they don't know where the ships are going to spawn, they're not going to know to use radar early on to see the do we get a destroyer? No, we do not get a torpid. We would have gotten a torpid, but only one. So we're charging ahead. So you can either right now use the speed boost or at the beginning like we did. Depends on your ship and how fast you want to go into a battle. But you want to get to the other side as fast as possible. Split is nice because it's pretty fast as is. Russian ships are also nice. I really enjoy doing it in Tashkent 39. I think Tashkent 39 is the fastest tier 7. I'm so glad I got that ship for resources, even though it cost a lot of resources and now I'm suffering by not having credits. Anyways, for a destroyer, any torpedo destroyer, I've done this in Akatsuki. I've done this in Tashkent, I've done this in Udachi, and here I am doing it in the Split. You run up. In fact, the Split is probably the best one to do this particular maneuver in. Is you run up, you ignore the cruisers, you're going to torpedo the destroyers. And why is the Split the best one for this? It's because you can radar. You can radar the destroyers without having them spot you or use. And since you have 4.1 concealment, you can actually get pretty close. So like here we are. less than 5 kilometers from one. We can see them. We have just enough radar duration to line up torpedoes, get away, and we don't get spotted. And this is why the Split is so great at that, because the Split can do this, whereas, oh, there's one destroyer down, never even spotted us. Are we getting at the other? Any at the other? There we go. We got the other on. Even with squeaky toy torps, by getting 2 of them, we take out the destroyers. Split can stealth, torpedo those 2 destroyers. Yudachi, Tashkent 39, any other destroyer will have to go up and spot them by getting close enough. So you get under fire from the enemy cruisers and the destroyers. Split does not go under fire because of the radar and being able to stealth torp and stealth radar. It's yeah, okay, it's a gimmick. It is very much a gimmick. that is actually really the only point in which the Split is good for Cherry Blossom. Otherwise, I would call it it's meh. I'm sending torps at the Miyoko, hopefully. Maybe we'll get a hit. I'm not too hopeful, though. I'm expecting someone to delete it. A couple destroyed. So now what we're doing is rushing up to the island at B6. So we're going to go there because that's where we steal our own kill. Anyways, we're rushing up to that island to try and get to the point where we can get through the destroyers. And there was a nice Shiratsuyu-sized gap between those torpedoes. Oh well. But yeah, so once you take down the 2 destroyers and the 2 cruisers are the Alba and the Yahagi that come from the north are sunk, you can go ahead and start moving north to these destroyers, which we actually get face spotted with this one. So this is the normal technique where you get you spot them because you're so close, and then you send torpedoes their way. So we went ahead and used radar. This spots the and even with 2 torpedoes we weren't able to get that. There we go. Finished off the kill. But yeah, but using the radar, we were able to spot the Fubuki, which also usually is dark for a while. And there's another downside of Split out-turning its guns. We're about to go look at the Fubuki, but it's also down. So there we go. By spotting these destroyers with your face, you take fire, obviously. So most of the time you are going to be at low health in a destroyer at this point of time. But thankfully, there's a heal circle. So that's where we're going to go. And that's where all destroyers should go, unless somehow... Here I was checking to make sure I didn't have... I wasn't sure if there's a 10-point captain or 13-point captain. So it's just making sure I didn't have Adrenaline Rush. By pressing the H key, you can check your stats in battle. If I pressed H and I saw the Adrenaline Rush, I might not have gone to the heal circle and just used the extra reload. But no Adrenaline Rush, so might as well top off on health. And we're looking at the Kid. That's the Kid in its pre-retrofit state as a Fletcher. I'm not sure. I do have a Kid. I'm not sure I have a video. The Kid is a gunboat. 100% a gunboat. Even if you try and build into torps, it's a gunboat. The Split, you can actually use the torpedoes. They're workable. Mostly because you have 2 launchers, and they reload in a minute, whereas the Kid with 1 launcher, 1 less torpedo, they hit harder, but 1 launcher with 1 less torpedo and a 2-minute reload means that you really can only shoot it at 1 target, and you're gonna get 1, maybe 2 torpedoes hits on that 1 target. Or split, you get the ultra narrow. You get narrow and ultra narrow, or very narrow, or however they want to call it in game. But yeah, you get narrow and very narrow torpedo arcs. Whereas the Kid, you get narrow and wide. And wide, you're not going to hit anything. And narrow, you're just going to get 1 or 2 torpedo hits, and that's why that's on the gunboat only. Whereas this one, you get to hit most, if not all, your torpedoes on a target. And the lights have been turned on. You know, when they first re-released these, yeah, see here, this is the normal narrow that most destroyers use, which is actually the wide for this one. No. Anyways, as to the bug, it's when the Cherry Blossom was first released, the lighting was normal. It gradually went into dawn. Now it's a light switch. Very much a light switch. It's been like this since like 1 or 2 patches after they reintroduced Cherry Blossom. No one's changed it. Probably because no one in the dev team knows that it's a bug. Or they have 99 bugs and this isn't an important one. Or if they change this, fix it, they'll break a dozen other things. Who knows what it is.
Problem solved, sir. Smoke screen set.
Yeah, coding is fun. And 99 bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around. 144 bugs in the code. It's fun. So here we are, we're trying to focus on the Akizuki because it has the highest DPM of all the ships. It also pens 30mm naturally. And we're sitting up here in smoke because this lets us take down airplanes while being unspotted. Hey, look, we got a torpedo kill on the Alba.
You destroyed an enemy cruiser.
And the planes are just hovering over us. But because they don't have, they know we are here, but they cannot shoot at us or drop torps or attack our ship as long as we are not spotted. So they're just hovering over and being spotted by our allies behind us, and we get to shoot them down. Free farming. Yeah, that is definitely not bot abuse. Please, no one report me for bot abuse. Even though that is 100% what I do. I'm probably not the reason why bots' behaviors get changed. I don't want to be the reason. Maybe someday I will be the reason. Oh wait, I am part of the reason why the bots in Nurai got changed. Because I kept farming them in the back, along with everybody else. And I was one of the people who released the early videos, early replays of that. Anyways, speaking of farming things in the back, you can eventually get back into the back of Cherry Blossom and shoot the ships as they spawn in. They do spawn in hot, so they will be shooting their guns as they come in. But loading torpedoes takes time, so their torpedoes will not be ready for a little bit. So if you can, and it's not an easy task to get up there, but if you can get to the back, somehow the Akizuki is still alive. But yeah, if you can get to the back, you can kind of farm ships as they spawn in slowly. But they slow. It's a slow spawn. It's
Enemy destroyer
trickle spawn.
foundered.
They spawn in one at a time every minute or so. And we have 2 Calgeros.
Destroyer.
Engine boost deactivated.
I believe it's a pool spawn. There's a limited select number of ships that will spawn in. And I think you might even be able to... I haven't 100% tried it, but I'm pretty sure that it's a limited number of spawns. So eventually you will be able to kill all the ships. And there will be no more ships and you have to shoot at the aerodromes. Which, luckily, somebody on our team is shooting at the aerodromes. We haven't even reached 5 minutes left. And so about 5 minutes left in the battle. That's when you really need to focus on the aerodromes. Until then, you can more or less usually farm ships, especially if it's like this, where there's only one enemy ship on the map. You can look at that ship and shoot it, and then turn to the aerodrome once it's done. See, there's another spawn. And so we get to shoot at it for a little bit before the end. Anyway, so here we are. We have a 5-star victory with everything destroyed, even though we didn't participate too much with the Atago. We have 9 kills with our natural selection because most of what we did were destroyers. 163 shell hits and 11 torpedo hits. And we are top of the team. Surprisingly, I expected Baltimore or Montpelier to be top of the team, but no. We somehow made top of the team in a destroyer. Anyways, so if you notice, we have 163 shell hits for 64k damage, and then 11 torpedo hits for 72k damage. So we were actually fairly split in 50-50 between the two. If we were better with the guns, we might, or more active with the guns, it might have actually been a 50-50. As you see, there's the last Elba. The only thing that we shot that didn't die. But yeah, this is why I would say this is a hybrid ship, not a gun-focused boat. And the slightly higher torpedo damage is why I would build into torpedoes more than guns. Because with the torpedoes you can actually do chunk damage, whereas the guns, they are still destroyer caliber, and with AG only, there are points where you will not be able to penetrate. And here's the, I did this on a day that I had premium, so that's why I have the premium stats. I'm only using green boosters because I was going through this slowly. Because I didn't have anything I really wanted to grind other than credits at the time. I am low on credits, if you can see. Well, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. And if you want to watch more content from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But I'm not going to make you, because I'm not your mother. I do, however, hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.